Okay, should be live. I wanted to make a. Hold on here. I wanted to make a a video or a live stream explaining um, what the difference is between kinds again, because it seems like people are still asking me questions. How do you know the difference between what a kind is? And it's fairly simple once you know the genome. If the genome has been mapped or sequenced, excuse me, if the sequence of the genome is known, then all you have to do is compare them side by side. You compare them side by side, and you will see whether or not they are copies of each other or from an original copy. It's not complicated, because if you copy something, it's going to have the same content with variations or with some changes, a few changes of what was there originally. If it's not the same kind, it's going to have information that is unique to whatever it is, and it won't be an exact copy. You understand? So it's not really hard to know the difference. For example, when you compare the humans to humans, they say, oh, there's a lot of changes between humans. Well, yes and no. it's, it's no because it's the same information that's copied a different number of times. It's yes, of course, because it's a different number. There's different numbers of copies of things inside of us, but it's the same information. So that's how you can say that we're different and we're the same. So it's from the same copy. And we have different copies, different numbers of copies of different things. That's what makes us unique. That's what makes us different. And since it's different numbers of copies of the same information, that's what makes us all human, and we're all the same, made of the same thing, made from the same original copy. So when you compare that to a chimp, you're going to find, first of all, that the Y chromosome is completely different. So we're not descended from we're not descended from chimps or a common ancestor, because they have a lot of instruction that we don't have, and we have a lot of instruction that they don't have. Between 20 and 30% of what we have, of what we both share, we do not have in common. So, that thing that you heard, that we're 98% similar to chimps, that's simply a lie. It was a farce. It was an absolute lie. Because they didn't count the information that is different between chimps and humans. If you're going to compare similarities, you have to compare the entire genome and everything that's in the genome, especially when it's useful information, especially when it's essential to the organism, to exist, to live, to be viable. So that's the easy way to tell the difference between different kinds. All you have to do is map the genome. If it's mapped, if it's totally sequenced for both animals, compare them side by side. If it's copies of the same information all the way through, then you know it's the same original kind. But if if they each have information that only they have, that is unique to what they are, then you know it's a different kind, and not a copy. Because a copy is going to be a copy, and we are not copies from whatever made chimps. We are copies from whatever made humans, because we all have different numbers of copies of the same information. We're different. I mean, you look at the Y chromosome, you see all these differences. They're different. They're different numbers of copies of the same information. So it's not really a difference in the information. The information is the same information. So it's not complicated. I don't know why, you know, people make a big deal. Oh, you don't know what a kind is. You can't define the kind. What's a kind? You know. And species is a better term, but species is a worse term, because species could be anything. And species is all over the place as far as defining something. It doesn't define something. It just says, ring species. If it goes around a ring, it's not the same species no more. Well, it's the same copy from the same information, and so it's the same kind. But it's a different species. So species is irrelevant. Anyway, the term species. So it's not that complicated. I don't know why everybody has a problem with it. If I can figure it out, anybody should be able to figure it out. There's no excuse, because I came from the Amazon, and I'm jungle jargon. So what's your excuse for not understanding? Anyways, hope that clears it up. Dr. Jungle Jargon is defining terms and explaining different kinds for you, because nobody else could, I guess. But whatever. Hey, what's up, Jesus Lord? How you doing? You could join maybe if you clicked on Skype, on the Skype thing there. I'd have to open up a Skype window. Actually, I could do that. I just want to be able to get my Streamlabs into operation and see how it works, and try to see if I can make it work. But you don't have to join if you can't, of course. What is today? Today's Sunday? Yeah. I'm just explaining different kinds. If something's copied, if there's a copy, for example, of a common ancestor, if we're copied from a common ancestor, we're going to have the same information, essentially. Maybe different numbers of the same information, different numbers of copies of the same information, but it's going to be the same information. But with chimps, we don't have a common ancestor with chimps, because they have information that we don't have, and we have information that they don't have, so we are not from the same common ancestor. It's not complicated. It's really easy to understand. Because a copy is a copy, is a copy. You're not going to get information inserted that's not there. I came up with the example of the alphabet. If you want to know if it's a copy of an alphabet or the alphabet, it's not going to say A, B, C, D, E, F, G. You don't get it yet. H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. You can know because of the inserted information. It's not a copy of the alphabet. And it's the exact same thing with the genome, with between chimps and humans. They have information that we don't have. We have information that they don't have. So we are not copied from the same original common ancestor. And our Y chromosome is totally different anyway, to begin with. So it's not complicated. It's not hard to understand. It's just that people that have the information are hiding the information. That's why they said we're 98% similar to chimps, because if they said anything else, it would disprove the evolution. So what they did, they didn't count all the information. They only counted the the identical or the comparable information. They didn't even count the information that's totally different. So of course you're going to get a wrong number and say we're 98% similar. I mean, humans are like maybe 99% similar or something like that. But not we're not that similar to chimps because we just don't have the information that they have, and they don't have the information that we have, so it's not a copy from a common ancestor. It's really simple. And just so everybody knows, so the next time an atheist says, I keep moving this microphone. Next time an atheist says that we can't define a kind, yes, we can define a kind, and it's called a copy. And if it's multiple copies of the same information, that's the same information. It's copied from the same information, same original kind. But if it's information that is unique to whatever it is, that is not the same information, then you know it's not a copy. It's as simple as that. It's not a copy from a common ancestor. It's not a common ancestor. We don't have common ancestors with chimps. And they could have proved that years back when the first time they said 98% or 99% or whatever they said. They could have been honest and tell us, oh, we're actually like maybe 80% similar, 75% similar. And that would have disproved evolution right then and there. But they weren't honest, they were dishonest, and they've been lying to us all this time about it. So now we have to remove evolution because it's not true. Evolution has no place in any educational system because it's not a fact. We do not have a common ancestor with chimps. We are all brothers. We are brothers. White people did not evolve from black people. We are brothers. It's a different amount of melanin. It's a different number of copies of the same information. We have the same information. It's the exact same melanin that we all share, except for albinos that don't have melanin. So evolution is a lie. Richard Dawkins was there with an African. Richard Dawkins had a video with an African saying that whites evolved from Africans. You know, that's racist. It's not even right. Because we're actually brothers. And besides being brothers, we're all interrelated anyway. Besides having the same common ancient ancestors, we're all mixed up anyway. We're all related to each other anyway. That's how relations go. There's black Jews, there's Chinese Jews, there's European Jews, there's probably Pacific Islander Jews, you never know, or whatever. And the way genealogies work is that we're all related, we're all descended from them. No matter who it is, you're descended from them. If it's an ancient ancestor, we're descended from them. Every one of us. We're all brothers and sisters. And so this evolution got to be removed from the educational system immediately, because it's a lie. It's always been a lie. Of course, we know it's a lie, but it's always been a lie, and it's the reason for not understanding the truth, not being able to understand the truth. And you got Christians believing in evolution, and I don't even know how that's supposed to work. How can a Christian believe in evolution? Adam and Eve were created. You know, if you believe in evolution, you're a Christian. Then you don't believe what the Bible says. You don't believe the historical record, and you happen to be wrong too, according to the scientific evidence. So it's not complicated. It's not hard. But I just want to put this explanation out there as to what is a kind and what is not a kind, because people are confused as to what a kind is. You can't really tell by looking at the animal what a kind is, but you could if you compare the genome side by side. If it's all copies of the same information, then it's the same kind. But if there's information in there that is unique to the whatever it is, that is not in either one or the other, like, then it's not a copy from the same information. It is not a copy. That's what a different kind is. Okay, kind is a copy of the original kind. And since the Y chromosome of chimps doesn't match with ours, and since they have information that we don't have and we have information that they don't have, we don't have the same common ancestor because it's not a copy. We are not copied from the same original ancestor. It's as simple as that. So everybody have a nice day. Everybody enjoy their Sunday. And God bless and everyone in the knowledge of the Lord.